I remember growing up when I first started playing Little League Baseball and then went, through junior high school and high school and whatnot, past high school, and just learning fundamental balls, right? How to throw, how to hit, how to run bases, how to catch, like all these different things, fundamental baseball. And learn how to just to be a kid and enjoy the game, all right? And learn how to feed off each other and do some other things. Because at the end of the day, it's a team sport, not an individual sport. I never learned how to stare at an iPad and tell me how to play, or what to this, or what to that, how to be obsessed with analytics. And that's why I'm bringing this up, because that's one of the first things that I see with the Yankees almost every time I watch them play. Whether it's before an at-bat or after at-bat or during innings or whatnot, they're staring at the iPad. And whether it's launch angle, whatever it is, it's almost as if they've, at least in my opinion, lost the feel for the game. And they're relying on this technology to tell them what to do. And honestly, if analytics is telling these guys to rely on home runs when they're half the team or even when they're not power hitters, then I think the analytics stinks. I really, really do. So I just wanted to get into that a little bit. This team that we just saw in 2022, it reminds me like the 95-96 team when they're on the upswing right before they're about to blow up. That was the 95 team. They got eliminated. It was a heartbreaking loss, and the next year they won the World Series. They also made some moves that offseason. So the Yankees make moves? Yes. But at the end of the day, I think the analytics needs to be analyzed. And maybe using a little bit differently, a little bit less obsessively might be a good thing. How about taking... going on experience and instincts, right? And the human effect and interacting with each other. Like, I don't see these guys talking to each other after at bats very often. Okay, I see them, the faces buried in the iPad. And to me, that takes some of the human effect away from the game. Okay, last thing I want is a robot players. I don't want robot umps either. Okay, but it looks like we're headed that way, and technology is kind of taking over stuff. I mean, you see how technology affects personal relationships, communication skills, and all this type of stuff. Like, it's almost like people can't answer questions or can't have a conversation without technology. I remember going into a Starbucks one day in Manhattan, and there was a big sign on the door. It said, "No, we don't have Wi-Fi, so talk to each other." It's like the greatest thing I've ever seen. The best sign I've ever seen in my life. And it's true. So, what are your thoughts about analytics here? I mean, there is a place for it. I get it. There are other teams that adopt it to their own, the way they want to do it. But, how do you think the Yankees could use it a little differently? Do you think they obsess over it? Because at the end of the day, this reliance on the home run, getting their ass kicked by teams that play small ball and medium ball too, and also hit home runs, it's pretty clear that the analytics is doing them wrong, doing them dirty in the postseason. Okay, and I think deviating from some of the things that made you so good to begin with, right, takes away not only the spirit of the game, but puts you in a position to lose more often than win, especially when it counts. So, and it just goes to Baron Boone. Like when Aaron Boone was here in 2003, when he hit that World Series en route, that home run off of Tim Wakefield in the 12th to 13th inning to put him in the World Series. At that point, none of these guys were relying on analytics the way they were doing now. Okay, none of them. So I didn't remember seeing any laptops or freaking iPads or whatever, digital gadgets in the dugouts. And do you? Because I sure as hell don't. So he knows what it's like as a player to play instinctually and play with experience and listen to coaches and communicate. So what's made him deviate from that? Is it having to utilize it because analytics and Cashman are telling him to, or is it just by choice? That's my other question that I have. I wish they would answer. I wish somebody would answer it. I wish Hal would answer it. Like, I'm sure they're investing a lot of money in analytics. I get it. But look at its track record now, particularly in the postseason. It's doing them dirty. And to me, I'm either saying bye-bye to it, or like Dave Dombrowski doesn't really, he like pretty much ignores analytics over in Philly. And again, he's putting them in a position in the World Series now. They can win the whole thing. And how should it be applied in New York is my question, right? And that's, to me, just like watching Moneyball. They were fixated on analytics, right? Billy Beane and Peter Brand, or whatever the kid's name is, fixated on it. But did they win the World Series that year? No. Have they won one since? No. So an over-reliance on that type of stuff to me is a mistake when it comes to a team like baseball, because all the players are different. It's very, very hard to use analytics to get these guys into a cohesive unit. Launch angle works for this one, launch angle doesn't work for that one. Like, we know Giancarlo Stanton, right? I don't need analytics to tell me that he hits the ball harder than anybody else in baseball. The guy murders the ball. It reminds me of Roy Hobbs from The Natural. It's just like I'm waiting for the cover to come off the ball when he hits the ball. He hits these home runs and they're out in like 2 seconds. So we don't need analytics for that. We can see that with our eyes, all right? And this is where I wish the human effect in baseball would come back and revisit a little bit and figure out a way to work together with this technology stuff. I find this to be an important conversation because I think it really affects not only how the Yankees play, but how we feel about the Yankees too. And I totally understand frustration with fans and whatnot. And I get, like I said, there is a place for it, but like overly obsessing about it, it's not working for the Yankees. So I think they have to figure out the proper medium, the right balance between the two in order to be successful. That's the way I see it. People can disagree, but that's the way I see it. I want to know what you think. And by the way, I have so much Yankee content coming out, and you're not going to want to miss it. So you know exactly what to do if you don't want to miss this content all off season. It's going to be a fun off season. Free agency's right around the corner. I'm going to keep you updated with everything like I did during the lockout. And when it ended, breaking news is popping everywhere, every couple of minutes or whatever. You're going to get everything here. Everything. Okay? And thank you, to all the folks who have supported the channel. And I got to give a shout out to somebody. Okay, let me look up. Hang on, I have it right here. I got to give a special shout out to Luis Cortez, a new member. Joined the 161 family, and I appreciate you, Luis, and welcome. Been part of a nice little group here that's growing little by the day, and then we got a nice little family. You get bonus content, early content. You get to join on the live streams on screen yourselves, and some other things as well. So, but again, even if you're not a member, doesn't mean you're gonna miss anything. So I'm just gonna make that clear. You get all the videos, you get all the live streams and everything. So the membership is just a little bonus perk. So, but what are your thoughts on this analytics stuff? And these are the types of conversations that I like to have on things because it gives us different perspective, right? It teaches us maybe to think a little bit differently. And your perspectives give me perspective, right? So that's why I like to ask these types of questions. And it gives us a little bit more of a more in-depth understanding of how the game is played or how it's played differently. And I think it helps shapes our mindset, shapes a more informed thinking process. So have a great day, everybody. Talk to you later.